I'm not supposed to touch my glasses, but it's fine. I'm clean. I'm also not sure how the audio is gonna work here, but hi guys. So, hey. This is something new that I have not attempted before. I mean, I probably tried, then I gave up halfway through. This is a terrible rolling pin. But hi, and welcome to my cooking channel, kind of. I don't know, man. It's a cooking video, and what we're gonna do today is we're gonna make gyoza from scratch. Everything, filling and wrapper, peel, skin thing, something. So first of all, we're gonna start with the wrapper, because with the wrapper you can make it first and then you can kind of keep it in the fridge indefinitely for about a week or two if you freshly made it, and then the filling can come later, and then you can just take your filling, take your skin out. Take my skin out. Take the dumpling wrapper out and put your filling in and then cook it. There, that wasn't so hard. This is the first time I have a 2-camera setup. You guys can see a camera over here. You guys are watching over there. And this guy's coming with me if I'm going over here, which is my stove. You're staying over there, sadly. So, what you're gonna need is a big bowl. I mean, you'd want a bowl that was kind of decently big, but this works. You want a big bowl. And I don't have my scale here, so I'm gonna eyeball it. But you would probably, ooh, that's a lot of dust. You would probably need like 250 grams of all-purpose flour. That's 250. So here's a good way of gauging it. This bag was 1 kilogram, and then divided by 2s. So I think I've used about close, maybe a little bit more. It's fine, honestly, but you don't really want to make it too dry, or like you don't want to add too much all-purpose flour. That's that. I forgot to boil water. Great. So you want all-purpose flour and then a little bit of salt. I'm gonna use my favorite salt here, which is the pink Himalayan salt. Just gonna add just a touch. You don't want too much. That might have been too much. The thing with making the wrapper is it has to be kind of precise, otherwise when you roll it up it's gonna be too tight or too thick or too difficult to work with. That's over there boiling. And the salt. Salt, basically you just want to flavor the skin a little bit, although when you bake bread, salt kind of gives it extra flavor because it inhibits the yeast growth. But with this case there is no yeast, but it does increase gluing structure. So that's a thing that honestly I can't tell the difference, but I just think it gives the skin a little bit of flavor. But, you know, if you're into that kind of scientific stuff, there you go. Honestly, I don't like these kinds of rolling pins. I prefer the wooden dowels that are about yay big, maybe slightly bigger. Those are better for rolling out your dough. But this is all I could find. And then normally you would also use the wooden dowel to also mix because it's boiling water. But I'm using that, the back of a wooden spoon, or the butt of a wooden spoon. Just waiting for the water to boil. Any minute now. I was not prepared for this. I don't even know how good this is gonna look on the camera, and I'm not even sure if you guys can hear me because I don't have my regular mic with me because it's so far away. My workstation is on that side, and kitchen's over here. And kitchen doesn't really have a lot of plugs. We have them here, but it's a little cluttered. Get some wine, honestly. So you 250 grams of all-purpose flour, a pinch of salt, maybe a little bit more. That might be a little bit more than 250. I think I said that. But so to this 250 grams of flour, you're gonna add 150 grams of boiled water or boiling water. Don't ask me why boiling water. This is just how I kind of learned to do it. I think it has something to do with just that's boiled enough. I think it just has something to do with helping it be a lot smoother and easier to incorporate compared to a cold bit of water. That got stuck there. Okay, so this is 500 liters. So I'm gonna just kind of eyeball it a little bit. Just want to add it little by little. This is moving a lot. So that's what's going on here. It's a lot better if you have a heavier bowl. I have a stainless steel bowl. It moves around a lot, but that's barely even a liter. So about 150 liters of water, and then you just kind of mix it a little bit. And the reason why you would want to use a wooden dowel or like the butt of a wooden spoon is because it's boiling water. You don't want to burn yourself. This is what happens when you don't have a scale. You kind of have to go by it. And I don't believe in the imperial system. I don't believe in cups. I believe in good old metrics, grams and liters and all that jazz. Maybe a little bit more water. Yeah, we're gonna. I think that's gonna make too much. Too much. Ooh, that's warm. Yeah, I think that's gonna make too much wraps. That is way too much. I have made a terrible error. When you think it's decently incorporated, get your hands in there, messy. Make sure you got your hands washed. I washed my hands prior to this. Everything in this area is new, so it should be okay. It is completely better if you have something to scrape down the sides. I don't have all my tools right now, so a lot of people prefer to just make the filling and then just buy the wrap. I'm not a big fan of that. I kind of like making my own filling. My own wrap as well, because honestly, it's just better. That's what I think anyway. So right now it's about this consistency. You want to knead that for about, say, like 5 to 7 minutes ish. I mean, you can go a little less. I think it's sticking a lot to the bottom. That's fine. I might have added too much water to this then. No, it looks good. So last time when I made my very first gyoza wrapper, it was too thick, really difficult to work with. I think it was because I used cold water. So it was so difficult to work with, and it was fighting me a lot. That looks pretty good. It's just sticking a lot to the bottom. I don't know why. That's fine though. And so, I mean, the gyoza still came out great, but it was such a pain to work with tough it was to roll and to just do everything. So they came out really thick instead of being thin and nice like the wrappers that you get in an Asian supermarket. That is not as smooth as I thought it would be. Oh boy. The bottom is sticking a lot. Might be because it's too sticky. But then again, maybe I'm not kneading it enough. After we've kneaded for about 5 minutes, we're gonna put it into a bowl. We're probably just gonna leave it here, and we're gonna let it rest for 40 to 50 minutes. I kind of want to add a little bit more flour in here, but everything in me is telling me not to. However, I am going to just a little bit. Ooh, that's making quite a difference. Oh, that's much better. So my bowl is also just too small. Oh, much better, much better. Look at that. It's coming together nicely. It has been about 5 minutes maybe. I'm just taking small peeks at my thing here, and I remember that when I was mixing this, it was around the 10-minute mark. Might be wrong. Normally you would want it to be a little bit smooth, but I think that's as smooth as it'll get because it's so sticky. Oh. I think it's the flour that's just absorbing all the water. So there we go. That's better. Nice. That makes it so much easier to work with. I'm gonna move it over to another bowl because look at that. It's so tiny in here. And I kind of want to use this bowl to mix up the filling. So, put you down there. So, let that rest for 40 minutes. I'm going to set it aside for now. And wash this. Alright. It's been 40 minutes. Actually, it's been more. So, that's what it looks like. Take that off. Toss it aside. It is really soft. Ooh. So, that's what it looks like. Really soft. Real nice, a little moist though. I think it's because it was a little warm. So, over here, what you can do is take a little bit of flour over here. But the primary thing that you're gonna be using is because I'm just using a little bit of this just because, you know, it's sticky around the sides. That's all. But the primary thing you're going to be using is cornstarch. This helps prevent, I mean, you could use flour, but in my experience, flour still tends to stick. So when you've made your cornstarch, when you've made your little circles, you can put cornstarch in between and just like stick them together, right? So, alright, here I have some cornstarch. This is where it gets messy, people! Take a whole bunch of it and just go like there. Okay, I'm gonna have to clean that up. So, this is what you do. Wanna poke a little hole in between. Make it like a donut, alright? Like a donut. From here, donut. You can just break it apart and do that. This, I think, is a lot easier and way faster than trying to, I don't know, push your, trying to roll a whole dough out. Because right now, look at that. You have a whole dough. like you have it all round and ready to like roll out, ready to cut, ready for you to use. Now again, with the 250 grams, I mean with the recipe, the original one, if you've measured it all out, you should be getting 20 pieces, 22 of 18 grams. You don't have to do exactly 18 grams, you can be 20. So I'm just gonna, yeah, finger all this. So you'll get these little rounds, right? Just that. These might be very big. This is definitely a lot easier, much softer to manipulate than my older one. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. We're making 12 here. Yeah. Wait, 12, 22. I think this is correct. I haven't been making these for a long time. So I made a mistake here. I shouldn't have done that. So just have these rolled out into little balls. They don't have to be exactly perfect. They really don't. Next, what you can do is, they're really sticky, is have them do that, right? So now you have them coated on both sides. Push them down. That way they don't stick to each other. You can do 3, 4. I like them this way. So you can set these aside over here, because you don't want to work with them yet. So you have these. They're all down here. So I believe you're able to just roll this out. A little difficult actually. With the wooden dowel, it's a lot easier. Come on, come on. So my roomie came in and got some water, but this is basically what it looks like over here. So after you roll it out, you want to dip it in a little bit of cornstarch, pat that out. So that way, when you roll these out, you can actually roll 2 of them out at once, but I feel like this is a horrible way to do this. So you'd have to just kind of use your rolling pin and just go like so until you get like a nice, oops, I bumped the camera there a little bit, until you get like a nice circular shape, probably even. Yeah, that's good. Normally when you roll it out, you'd want it to kind of be thinner on the sides, but at this point you don't have that luxury. That should not stick, and we set that aside. So I'm gonna do the same with the rest of these, and we'll come back and I'll show you how to store them. Hi YouTube. So these are our stacks of these guys. So what you can do is you could, ooh, sorry about that, is you could have these wrapped up, and then you can use them for later. Hopefully they don't stick. I've literally coated each of them with cornstarch, so you can keep these guys, put them in here, wrap them up, and then keep them for later. So these keep for quite a long time. Actually, you can keep them for up to a week, provided you haven't contaminated them with anything. So that didn't cover up, did it? That's fine. So wrap them up nicely. That's all over the place. And then you can keep them in a Ziploc bag after. That might not fit. Might have to adjust this properly. So it's one. Never do multiple jobs at once, guys. I mean, if you can finish a job once, don't try to screw around. So I really hope these don't stick. These are freshly made, so they might have a little bit more sticking power than a regular dumpling wrapper or gyoza, or some people like to call them jiaozi. Just trying to sop up the last of these bits here. It looks so much better now. Okay, that's better. So I'll have them wrapped up, ready to go. And then just, I don't know, try to wrap them now. The saran wrap is not sticking because that's a little bend there. I hope that's fine. I'm not a stickler for rules. They don't have to look perfect. Put them in there. And then chuck them in the fridge until you're ready to use them. I'm going to clean this up and we can move on to the next objective, which is making the filling. Filling is a lot easier. No wait time, no nothing. Okay. So, now that that's clean, moving on to the next thing. Right. So, gyoza filling. What do you need? You want the meat that you're gonna get, so I'd suggest some ground meat is pork. If you are Muslim or you cannot eat pork, you could definitely use ground up chicken or beef, but honestly, I will tell you now that pork is the best meat. And then you'd want some green onions, lettuce, garlic, ginger, and some mushrooms. About the mushrooms, I would definitely 100% suggest shiitake mushrooms. However, there are no shiitake mushrooms over at the convenience store that I was at, so right now the easiest thing is take a big bowl, put your meat in there. This is about 400 grams of meat. Honestly, gyoza filling is the most versatile thing. You can use whatever you have in your fridge. If you have bell peppers, why not? Chop them up, replace them, use them to replace your cabbage. Did I say this was cabbage? This is cabbage, not lettuce. So I'm just gonna take this meat and then dump it in here. Come on up, what? There we go. And put that in the trash. So I know that cross-contamination is a thing. So I'm gonna go wash my hands first. Okay. So, meat. Hands clean. And a cutting board. We'll move on to the cabbage first. Let's do the cabbage. Get a couple of leaves from your cabbage, and then you're gonna chop them up into little pieces so that you can add them into your gyoza. You can add quite a lot, actually. Let's do one more layer. Cabbages are like onions, guys. Alright, so we'll set this aside. We'll set that aside here. And then just chop away. is moving a lot. If your mat tends to move a lot, put a little, if your cutting board is moving a lot, put a little towel down there, a wet one, and then it shouldn't move anymore. This does make it a lot harder to use. I'm gonna cut it in half. There we go. This should be easier to manage, I think, for me. This might be too much. That is enough. I believe this is good enough. Misjudged there, so. You want these kind of small. You don't want them too big. So get them a little chopped up. You want them small enough so when they go in with the meat and then you start cooking your gyoza, everything kind of it starts to melt, kind of, and then just infuse that flavor, give it a little bit of that sweetness. Okay, so now when you have your cabbages about that small, you could mince it a little bit more if you wanted, but let's just move that over here. Honestly, a better way is just to do this. Just have your bowl move out. Can you see that? Yep. And just have it go down. And you got your cabbage in here. So, cabbage. Normally I would have a towel here for that. I think I do. Do I have a towel for this? I do not. So, bite. We can move that off to the side, it's fine. Now, we will take 2 of these guys, give them a good wash. Honestly, maybe I might want to take 3. 3 sounds good, actually. So with these guys, you pop these off, turn it around, lop these off. Normally you want to lop these off too. And you have that, equal amounts, put them together. And then chop, 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 off you go. So some of my bits are a little big, but it's okay. They will start to wilt once you start cooking them. That's a big piece. Let's not use these guys here. And so there you go. So move that aside, and we're gonna clean off our table. So with green onions, you want to be careful about how they start getting a little bit slimy towards the end, especially when their outer layer comes out. So that's something to worry about. And we have our garlic. So garlic. What is the plan here? Use these parts. I think we don't need that much garlic. That seems good. Actually, you know what? Maybe let's do another one. Yeah, let's do another one. So there's many ways people can do this. I've seen people peel them with their hands. I've seen people use their hands, crush them, or like do that, right? And then it comes off real easy. And all you have to do is just start peeling away. Another thing that I've seen people do is with a very big cleaver, they just go whack it once. If you're not comfortable with the idea of whacking your garlic, just place it in like that and just go. That should be good. And then just give it a whack. Same concept in general. What you want to do now, most of the time, is maybe take out that part. Some people don't. I don't like them. They're a little odd to me. So I take those parts out. Doesn't matter if it's too much. It's fine. And then you're off. You just want to mince these up into very tiny little pieces. So I like doing them one by one. I don't know how people do like multiple ones at once. I like them one by one. So I've seen some people do it like onions. They kind of like go here, go once, okay, and then they go twice. Some of them go 3 times at the top. I don't see the point in that. And they just go 1, 2, 3, and just go across like an onion, right? So after that, they just go, and you get your minces right out. With this method, I think it's kind of redundant, and if you're not careful enough, you don't know what you're doing. So I personally like the and just go all the way down, and then just go all the way down. So once it gets to this stage, you want it minced. Just give it a nice la 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 la. Okay, this is the easiest way to deal with your garlic, in my opinion. So with this, you have them very, I think right now that I've chopped them up, it seems like I might be lacking a little bit of garlic. I might need to make more later. This is bad. Because, you know, garlic, man, garlic is flavor. You want garlic. Garlic is great in everything. So that's decently chopped. You could go a little bit more. And then grab a little bit of these guys. Okay, so here's the thing with mushrooms. A lot of people wash them in water. Don't. You want to brush them off most of the time because they're mostly dirt, right? And just gonna rub them around. And plus, besides, it's just dirt, guys. How many of you have eaten dirt as a child? Comment down below. Remove these. These are gonna be a little too tough for your dumpling filling, because they don't really break down that much. So you can kind of throw them aside or use them. They can go, and then you just go all pieces here down there. And when they're like that, turn them around. Give them another chop. I love chopping mushrooms. So satisfying. It's because it's so soft. It just slides right through. Makes me feel like my knife is amazing, and my knife skills are amazing. They're just so. Look at that. Look at that. I'm just gonna gently just go through. That's amazing. That is how much mushroom we have. You could add a little bit more. Again, this is all up to personal taste. Gyoza fillings are one of the most versatile things I said earlier, and here's why. You can use any kind of filling that you want, any kind of meat that you want. Of course, maybe skip out on the fish. Fish just don't have a great texture, and when you mince them, they turn into paste. So maybe not. However, you can use shrimp. Just don't mince them too hard. Get some shrimp bits, prawn. into your gyoza filling. Some people add a lot of weird things in there. Yeah, but my personal favorite is adding a little bit of prawn into the pork so that it has a little bit more of a texture, is what I'm saying. Almost everything in here is to give the gyoza a little bit more flavor, a little bit more texture, a little bit more feeling. I think is the right way to deal with this. Normally with the mushrooms you want to use shiitake because it has more umami, but I think we'll make do. We can make do with these. It's fine. Doesn't have to be that clean, actually. So that's done, and then we want to have these little guy. This little guy, I'll chop him in half. Just want to use this part. We can peel him. Peeling him, I think, is better. If you have a bigger piece of ginger, you can just kind of just chop it into a square. But here we have ginger. Maybe chop that part off. Don't need that. There we go. Ooh, that nice ginger smell. Nice. Love it. So we want to grate this up into the bowl. I'll put the bowl here now. Okay, and you just kind of go through. Just give it that ginger taste. Am I doing anything? Feels like there's nothing going in. Yeah, I don't think there's anything going in. That's bad. Use this one then. Yeah, that's a better grater. Ooh, that smell of ginger is just amazing. Especially now, guys, as your Asian parents would tell you, drink ginger, lemon, and tea, honey lemon ginger tea, and then you'll be safe from this pandemic right now. I think I'll squeeze this. Yeah, that's another thing you could do with ginger. You could squeeze it. I have that much here from that bit. I might just use this one. Should I just grate it with the skin, guys? Oh, you know what? I have that much ginger in here now. So, what we can do, we can start mixing with our hands. Boom. Oh, yeah, I forgot a step. We need to add some seasoning. This is bad. I forgot. I almost forgot. Right. So, seasoning. Real easy. Boom. No more soy sauce. Oops. There's some soy sauce in here. Shush. 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 There are regular measurements to this. So there are of course measurements to this, but as with every good Asian, no measurements please. Go with your feeling. So just a few cracks of black pepper. Normally we would use white pepper. That is, I think, more common and a staple for Asians. Some salt. That might be too much. We'll give it a little bit more salting. And then mirin. Normally would have sake, but I don't have sake, so I'm just gonna mirin my way through here. Mirin is fine. Also, you would also add some sugar if you like. My roommate's out of sugar, so I forgot when I went out to get some supplies that we were out of sugar. So that is enough, I think. Yep. And then some soy sauce. So you don't want too much of, you know, as they say, you can always add more, you can't take away. So you want to mix that, the vegetables, the meats, the cabbage, the mushroom, the ginger, all together until you get a paste. And when you get it as a paste, you can immediately use it if you'd like, or the better option is to keep it in the fridge for about an hour or overnight, just so that the meat can actually absorb most of the mirin, the soy sauce. Okay, and you want it to look a little like that. Yeah? How's that look, guys? Amazing. Okay. So, I think I'll use this immediately right now. So I'm gonna clean up and then move on to the next step, which is wrapping them. Alright, so we're back. As you can see, they're not sticking together, which is a good sign. And just have them like that. And just have a little bit of that. That might be too much. Just a little bit of that, right? Or maybe just put the whole thing. That's good too. So, that's in. You want a little bowl of water. Right? A little bowl of water. Dip your hand in there. Just go all the way around. This will be a little bit more difficult because they're not perfectly round unless, you know, you spent the time to get them completely round, and just have them in your hand. Just go full, boom, like that. And you have a gyoza. So there are many ways people do this. They do the pinch. I may have stuck them together already, so I made a mistake there. So people tend to, you're supposed to pinch one. I'll show it to you later when I decide I haven't screwed up yet. Give this a little pinch inwards. Pinch in. Pinch in. I'm going to leave the center perfectly okay. Pinch that in and pinch that in. Big fail, guys. That's fine. We're all learning here. That is the one thing that I'm not particularly great at, is the pinching of my gyozas. So I've seen one way people do it, and that's like, you're kind of like doing this. And I kind of like the look of it. It's more like a dumpling than anything. So I see them do this a lot in certain places, and I'm like, wow, how do you do that? So, again, I'm not doing this very well. Supposed to pull that in, and that, and that. And then pull that in. So you're supposed to have something that looks like that, and then you can kind of pinch the top. This makes kind of like more like a bun, but it's a dumpling. So that is one way you can make it. There are many ways you can actually fold your dumplings. It doesn't have to be specifically in any way or order or shape or form. I think I might have gotten it. I think I've figured out the way. I've been filling these up with really huge chunks now. I don't think that's a good way of doing business. But, you know, this is home stuff. We just want to enjoy our meals. So most of my gyozas have been getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So how I've gotten about to doing this is kind of doing this kind of thing. Oop. So I've been going that and that. So each pinch kind of pushes that away. So we're pulling each piece in and each piece in. I think it's because they're so fresh. So the idea is that they're supposed to look like this and they go in. So I think I made one that was kind of good, which is this thing that looks more like a gyoza. This is all a learning process. So in the beginning it's not as good, then towards the end it starts looking better. Again, these are things that grow. These are skills that grow over time as you continue working with them. I love gyoza, but I don't make a lot of gyoza, so I just know most of the basics. Because, you know, who doesn't want to learn the basics of, you know, something they love eating, right? I definitely will be leaving this for tomorrow. I might just make some soup. I have some miso paste in the back, and you can just make it into little balls and just put them into soup. That's also one way to enjoy these fillings, because they're not just designated as fillings, right? They have other things they can be. That's the one thing with food. They can be whatever they want to be. Alright? Just like how you can be whatever you want. I'm not saying that you're food, but you're looking like a mighty fine snack out there, man. When you start getting into the groove of it, it's so fun. Done. And there are your gyozas. I'm gonna try to fry them. You guys are coming with me. Alright, so you have a pan. It's not hot yet, but I'm just gonna add a little bit of water in there. So, it is starting to get a little bit hot. So with this, we want to get the pan hot and then just dump those in a little line, so that way they can cook together. That's not hot enough. And the last touch is some sesame oil in there. There we go. So that is how to make gyozas from scratch, and there are a little bit of issues. Every once in a while, the bottom is a little darker because it took a while for them to cook. I think I could have gone a little bit thinner on those skins, but they were definitely a big improvement over my previous gyoza experiment. And again, we're all learning here. I don't do gyoza that often. I'm just doing it again because I want to remember some of the things that I might have forgotten. So I've taken a bite. It's really good. The cabbages are still a little crunchy. I tend to like them a little softer. Maybe it's just a different type of cabbage that I have that I'm using here. This is great. So, it lacks a little bit of flavor. That's fine. I do get a little bit of that pepper hit. But yeah, again, like you could have added a little bit more taste in there. Maybe I'll do that now. Who knows? So, but of course, gyoza can always go with some sort of sauce, a dip. So you can go add some soy sauce and mirin, and then add a little bit of rice vinegar, and then some hot oil, and you'll get like the stereotypical gyoza dip, I think. And then I don't know, and then you'll have some other sort of dips with like just plain soy sauce, but these are things you could do with gyoza. That's really good. The smell is amazing. Oh man, I need to finish that. So that's what the cross section kind of looks like. That's a little they're doughy, but actually they're not doughy, but they're really thick and they're really soft compared to not soft, how do I say this? They're a lot chewier. They're a little chewier than store-bought wrappers. So it's an extra texture in your mouth, guys. It's really hot. I'm straight out of the pan, guys. Alright. I've taken up enough of your time. Thank you guys for watching this entire thing. And I'm sorry about how hectic this video might seem. This is something new I've never tried before. I don't know where to place my cameras. You can check out other videos on my channel. This is the very first cooking one, so don't try looking for other cooking videos. However, I do a Let's Read series. Right now I'm reading Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. And I also do gameplay videos, although I don't do that as often anymore. However, I do stream on Twitch, so catch me there. Links in the description below. It's twitch.tv/greenteaworks. I'm working on getting that changed. It's going to take me 2 months, and I'll change it to Aegis. Alright? Bye!